Welcome back to the Baptist Catholic Show.
Today, we're going to be discussing how to have the perfect marriage.
Yikes.
So have you ever been listening to this podcast and think, how can I have the perfect marriage like Casey and Aaron? I think you probably have. I think that's what you think normally. Like every time you listen to this podcast? That would be correct.
Yeah, and you probably think, man, they obviously have the perfect marriage.
Obvi. Hashtag obvi. So we thought, in our infinite goodness, we would come down off. We'd come out of the ivory tower. We'd come down off the perch, whatever analogy you want to make, and we would share our wisdom with you. Right?
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Today, this is a little tongue-in-cheek episode. We're gonna be talking about marriage and 10 things that you can do today.
Yeah.
To make your marriage better.
Yeah. And we've been talking about vocation a lot lately, right? It's vocations weeks just passed and stuff.
We have an episode called Vocation Station. If you'd like to go back and watch that. Who came up with that title? Me. You're welcome.
Okay. Anyway, but we've been hearing a lot about vocation, right? And so, thinking about that, obviously, this marriage thing we're doing here, this is our vocation, and we should try to make it as quote unquote perfect, right, as we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're doing a stellar job. So, we always like to lead off with a little edumacation, and then we'll jump into our 10 very serious, not comical at all.
Stop. Okay.
Things you can do. So 1601 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church states the following. The matrimonial covenant by which a man and a woman establish between themselves a partnership of the whole of life is by its nature ordered toward the good of the spouses and the procreation and education of offspring. This covenant between baptized persons has been raised by Christ the Lord to the dignity of a sacrament. End quote. So there you have it. That is what basically this is. This is a covenant that we have entered into, which a lot of people I think get covenants. Like a covenant is basically just a contract, right? You sign the line, I sign the line. And I guess it's somewhat helpful to think of it, but it's a lot deeper than that, right? It's a total giving of oneself to the other person, which is a reflection of how God, right, in the Old Testament and even in the New, gave himself to the people of Israel first, and of course to the New Covenant gives himself in the fullest way through his son Jesus. So realizing that this endeavor, if you are married or you hope to be married, right, of marriage is more than just hanging out or being with somebody you really like.
Nice
for the rest
roommate
of your life.
situation.
Yeah.
Having two incomes for one household kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that gets confused or whatever a lot in our society. What this marriage really is for, what it's about. It's not just like an excuse to have a fun party. Like, I want to have a wedding and like flowers.
I want to be a princess.
Yeah. That's what Casey said before we got married.
That's what I said.
Make me a princess. Yeah.
Well, that's awkward. I did not say that. But yeah, and into this warped idea of marriage, right? And what we're seeing rampant is, cohabitation, and people just like, oh, well, marriage is not really that big of a deal. I don't need to get married. It's just, right, it's just signatures on a piece of paper. So realizing that that's not what it is, and that's not what God intended it to be, right? In the beginning, he made them male and female, right? And that they were supposed to cleave to one another. So we're going to talk about that today. And we're going to give you some practical tips from our own experience as seasoned married people. We're coming up on year 9.
Yeah.
Nueve. So next year will be the big 10.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to take Aaron out to McDonald's to celebrate that. That's what happens when you end up with 4 children.
Is there a tip on here that says that?
No, that'll be 11.
Bonus.
Take her out to McDonald's. But hey, we won't have children. How about that? We'll go out on a date.
Hold on. I have to interject here that Casey made that joke. However, when we met, we basically planned a date when we first met. at food service in college where both of us ate free, and he was like, "I'll meet you there."
Is there a problem?
It worked out, I guess.
Is there
so.
a problem? Here I am. You're welcome. Anyway, so we're skipping over that comment. It was like my second day there. Okay. So number 10, we're not going to let it happen. Number 10, look your best for your spouse.
I have never followed this rule at all. However, it is on a serious note. Hold on, because Casey's got an example here, but not that you should like, oh, I have to look perfect all the time, but every once in a while, dressing up and like putting a little extra effort in to look nice for your spouse and planning ahead for that, I think that is special and something fun to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is kind of related, but I'm even thinking about during the pandemic and when we were total lockdown, and sometimes having like a date that was here.
Oh, yeah.
But we dressed up for. And at first you're like, this is silly. But then you're like, no, this is nice. This is a nice something we're doing that's out of the ordinary. Because, on the reg, we look like we just crawled out the bed and like trying to keep humans alive.
No,
it's like,
I think
mission accomplished if everybody went to bed and they're breathing.
Yeah, I think normally if you saw what I look like most of the time, you'd be like, that poor homeless woman. Oh,
that's not true.
Gosh, love it.
All right. And especially men, I think what you need to do from a practical standpoint, and this is for the men who maybe aren't married yet, looking towards marriage, is to get you some Frosted Flakes.
Stop.
Get you some Frosted Flakes sleeping pants.
Pajamas.
Right? Pajama pants. And you break out them bad boys when you're ready to pop the question. Because looky here, looky here, looky here, looky here. So, yeah, I proposed in Frosted Flakes pajama pants. I don't know. No one trained me. No, I didn't get any training. I didn't get anybody beforehand saying, that's probably stupid. Or, not a good idea. No one said that. No one gave me any advice. I just trying to get married. Okay.
Yeah. We were 18. We were 18. That's my excuse. We were 18, and actually we had it planned for probably a couple months
like
before.
She knew it was coming, so I guess I got sloppy.
Yeah.
Like she already knows it's about to happen. Like
he ordered the ring.
Tony the Tiger. Come on. Let's go. Yeah. Number 9. Always look for opportunities to serve one another.
Oh yeah, that isn't a good one actually. I think because it's.
No, thank you. You're welcome.
And just, I don't know, even little things, just going out of your way to, well, they would like if I did this or that kind of thing.
To remind the person that you were thinking about them throughout the day, something, even if it's just a random text message or doing a little something for when they come home that that they like, even though if it's a little out of the way. But of course, the one that when I reflect on a relationship is running to get you a fruit salad from the Chick-fil-A. And I just remember bringing that back when she was pregnant with one of our children.
Pregnant
one of
with our second.
14 children. And bringing it home, putting it down on the table, her opening it up and saying, this is not what I wanted. Crying and running to the back room. I was trying to, quote, always look for opportunities to serve, and it didn't work. It was the wrong salad. Totally wrong.
I could make excuses for this.
She was pregnant.
I was pregnant. I wanted a Southwest salad, and he brought something with strawberries. That is 2 separate things. Let me just
They
put
have
that
strawberries in the Southwest, okay? We're not going to talk about it anymore. Number 8, be patient with one another's eccentricities, weirdnesses, okay? I don't have any of those, but I hear that you should be patient with those people.
Yeah, well, I think, so, seriously though.
Tell us about it.
When you get married, Casey and I were engaged for, 2.5 years before we got married.
Yes.
So,
that sounds right.
And I thought, at this point, like, what surprises could possibly be in store? You know?
Lo and behold.
Lo and behold, right? Like, there's always those things.
He's more perfect than what I thought.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa, easy. It didn't merit that kind of response.
But I think some people would use those, like, revelations, I guess you would call them, as maybe kind of an excuse, like, oh, well, I just didn't know this was going to be like this when I got into marriage, that it would just completely, change and that kind of thing. I was unaware that Casey, it takes 14, 15 times of him saying, I'm going to go get ready, before he actually gets ready to go do something. And I'm like, I've been ready for 3 hours. Let's get a move on, that kind of thing.
Or how about like when the most recent one that we've been reflecting on is I will drive, which I mostly do. And then I will get out and I'll have the keys to unlock the door. But I like to meander a little bit. I like to, listen, I take life just one step at a time.
And I'm just trying to get all these children in the house.
And I like to meander, go to the mailbox, see if mailman Bill's been there.
His name's Scott.
Sorry. And then walk around, see how the tulips are. No, we don't have tulips, but you know what I'm saying. I just like to take my time, and Aaron's like, move it. I understand, okay, if it's raining, I probably shouldn't do that.
But he still does.
I like to meander. Okay.
Yeah. So but just kind of recognizing, like, they're not always going to do everything the way that you do. And you're not always going to like the way they do something. But take a step back from that and be like, is this make or break? Is this something I should really get upset about right now? Like, is the mailbox, business here gonna really be the thing that sets me off today? You know what I mean? Just looking at those things in perspective.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to end up in counseling over the mailbox meandering.
Right. And that sounds so silly, but I'm sure I can think of, like, couples that I know that you're like, wait, you got mad about what? And it's those things. It's those little things that you're like, oh, you're driving me crazy the way you chomp your food, or that kind of thing. And you end up divorced or in counseling or whatever over these little things that I was so unaware that it would be like this.
You seem like Prince Charming. Number 7, take on household chores that they'd rather not do. Like, when you happen to stumble upon, this is hypothetical, I don't think it's real or anything. You happen to come home and she's done the laundry, or he has done the laundry, whatever. Except for there are giant piles of clothes that need to be hung up, still there. I'm done. Did you notice I did the laundry? 3/4 of it, yeah, I noticed. Because she doesn't like to hang up clothes. But that's okay. I can hang up clothes. I'm going to take one for the team, and I don't have to be a brat about it or mention it in the podcast that people listen to.
Okay, so the hanging up clothes, I know, just, isn't that like the worst part of doing the laundry, though? I don't even iron, so who cares about that? But just physically hanging them up, and, it gets worse.
Socks are the worst part of laundry.
No, I think you're wrong. Yeah. So, one day I left the clothes for him to hang up on our dresser. And
I didn't get it done in time.
And he didn't do it. And so the next day I had moved them to the bed.
And because I was
no, you hung them up.
Yeah,
you hung
eventually,
them up, because I was like, well, if I lay him here, he's going to have to do it before he can go to sleep.
Okay, I was not avoiding it. I just hadn't done it yet, and yeah, it was.
Yes,
it was getting on her nerves, and yet she did nothing about it. Okay, but
I mean, that's similar to the acts of service that we talked about earlier. Like, just it is. It's related.
I agree.
Finding ways that maybe I should have just done it, but
yeah, that's what it is.
I did clean the whole house.
Yeah.
So.
Good job that you did that one time. Okay,
Yeah.
number 6. Have fun with them in public. So, that's something that I enjoy doing.
Nope.
That Aaron does not apparently enjoy.
Hold on, let me just say, before you get goofy, have fun with them, period. In public, in private, whatever. People, the comment I hear the most about this podcast from like our friends and everything is, you just laugh so much, and I think it's hilarious. One of my friends actually said,
#Country Catholics.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Said, do you just sit and say, okay, Casey, get up and do a comedy routine?
Yes, I do.
And I said, I'm the entertainment.
Looks aren't everything. But shh. Anybody? Okay, anybody? All right.
You're a jerk.
Just joking.
But yeah, just having fun with your significant other, your spouse, whatever it is. I mean, I think a lot of arguments could be ended if you would just take a step back and make a goofy face. It'd be over. At least
real. It is for us a lot of times.
Yeah. You sit there and like,
when Aaron has done something wrong, which is really the only time anything goes wrong, just make a funny face and we're good. That's not a funny face. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. You can see that.
Yeah.
Smash that notification bell. Anyway.
No, it is just having fun with your spouse is so important.
In particular, thank you, now that I got back to this. In particular, I enjoy just randomly busting a move in the middle of a public place and ignoring her pleas to stop. This happened to us recently.
It happens all the time. Usually people...
But if you want to, if you're on YouTube, you just kind of start with the shoulders and it kind of bobbles a little bit. And then you just continue more vigorously until, she will begin to say, it starts like that. She's like, Casey, stop it now.
And then I end up at the point of begging, please stop. Please stop. Please just stop
She
it.
turns red. It's pretty good. At some point, mercy rule kicks in. But like the other day, we were out on a date, one of these very elusive things. It's called a date. I think you spell it Daty. I'm not sure. But anyway, it happens sometimes. And when we went on this date, we were at this fancy restaurant. It was pretty upper scale. I was wondering if people were going to notice that the poor people were in town. But anyway, they must have a gift card. Anyway, so we were there. And the waitress had gone back to get something, and I don't remember why, but I just started to kind of do my little boogie move about something, like, yeah, we don't have children, yeah, let's do a little boogie move. And she saw me, and the waitress, and she did not she said, I like those dance moves. And I was like, yeah. And
I was so glad. That somebody finally called him out for it, because I was like, yes, maybe he'll stop doing this.
Oh, no. That was great. I loved it. So
no, she did also comment. Casey was like, it's that time of night or something.
Like that.
And I tried to cover it up with, we're out without our 4 children. And she was like, yeah, and the wine starts to hit. And I was like,
no.
She thinks he's drunk.
I am a Catholic, but.
I was like, this is just his personality.
This is just
normal
people do this stuff when they're under the influence of something.
I did say it's not the wine.
No, it's just me under the influence of me. All right, number 5. Tease them out of love.
Oh, I just saw your example.
So tease them out of love. I sent, in all fairness, I send the notes to her before the show.
And I read it, and I read it.
But she did not. She glanced at it.
I read it, but I didn't think about how we would then go. Anyway, you all hear Casey tease me all the time on this, right? Like, he's constantly like, you're stupid, right?
I do. That's not teasing.
Anyway, we got some popcorn kernels. I'll just put it out there. We got some popcorn kernels last fall at the orchard or something. I don't know where these kernels came from. I got a popcorn popper.
We went through a popcorn phase, apparently. You're like, let's get the popper, let's get the kernels. It's going to be great. We use it every day.
We haven't used it much recently.
Really?
Anyway, in my mind, without telling anybody until well after the fact, in my mind, I thought, man, these must be some tiny chickens these kernels come from. These popcorn kernels.
Now, let me pause. Let me just pause for a second. She knows where she knows where kernels come from. She also knows what chickens do. And that they don't lay kernels. But it just happened to be in her mind. Like, I can totally relate to this, which is why I think it's funny. You will think something totally bizarre, and for whatever reason, you have convinced yourself it's true until you, like, say it out loud.
And then
you're
you
like,
examine what
no.
you think. Yeah.
Well, that's a good one. That one's going to live on forever. We're going to be like 87. Yeah, popcorn kernels over there probably come for some tiny chickens. You know, it's going to be there for a while.
Okay. They were just very, very small popcorn kernels.
Why are you associating that with eggs and chickens? I have
they
no
were
idea.
the average size. I don't know. Maybe it came from a guinea or something. I just...
Guinea start, man, that's a Ripley's, believe it or not, right there. Number 4, leave them random notes. I used to be the king of this.
Yes.
But not so much anymore.
I worked in food service our freshman year of college, and there was like a conveyor belt that
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, the trays would come down from like
One
the
floor.
first floor into the basement, and that's where we did the dishes. So Casey would leave me notes on his tray. He basically cleaned this up, you know, with all the other garbage, you know. But he would leave me notes like, love you, kind of thing.
Have fun washing the dishes.
Yeah.
No.
Ironically, I don't wash any dishes now, so, yeah.
Can't wait for you to bite me.
Yeah, you used to be the king of it.
Yeah.
And I've kept all of those notes 12 years later.
Yeah. Most recently, though, you've been doing that.
Mm.
So, for example, you got me some Starbucks the other day, and you know how it says caution,
Hot drink.
She like between caution and drink, screw it in your caution, your hot.
Yeah. I also recently left my phone number on his coffee cup and said, call me. He did call me.
I did. I said, hello, who's this? So anyway, a little funny, endearing things.
It's little things like that. It's not like it's super spicy or anything, you know, but it's... The kids think it's really funny, right? Like, so they think... When Casey gets in the car, like, we switch off the kids, and that's when I leave him his coffee or whatever. And the kids are always like, what mom wrote on your cup? And so, you know, even just that, just our kids seeing that, as they grow up, that like, well, one, they think we're disgusting anyway.
You all love each other, gross.
Yeah, our 5-year-old was like, isn't that so gross that you got married to Dad? And I was like, no. She was like, he had to ask you, will you marry me?
Can you believe that?
Yeah. So anyway, I just think those kind of things, when they look back as they're, you know, discerning their vocation, but then, you know, as they get married, if that's the way they go, thinking that's normal, I think that's good. I think that's a great thing for them to grow up saying that, like, my mom writes weird notes to my dad on his coffee cup or whatever, you know.
Exactly. Good stuff. Number 3, deny yourself small comforts for them. Okay. Yeah.
Like the comfort of not having somebody dance in public.
I can't deny that one. That is a comfort that will stay with me forever.
I was talking about my comfort, but okay.
Sorry. No, I wanted to make you very uncomfortable. That is a comfort to me, to make you uncomfortable. So I cannot deny myself that comfort. Okay. You know, I can think of many a night I'm a big boy, so I sometimes. Wow, Aaron, you really drove that one home. Thanks. So like I'll be sweating at night, during the summer. We do this weird thing of we do windows before we turn on the air conditioner. I look around this neighborhood. People go from heat to air.
Yeah, they don't use windows.
Is it because I'm some kind of hit from the heels or something? Like we do windows for a good while, but I'll be sweating a little bit.
Casey,
I'd like to have the fan on when I sleep.
Or even not even then. It's like if he comes in from mowing the grass, whatever. He likes.
I need a fan.
He likes the fan on.
And Aaron's like, no, I don't like the way it feels on hitting my skin.
I don't like when it blows on your, like you can feel it on your skin.
That's the definition of a fan.
And
to blow air onto your skin.
I like a coolness, but not the breeze that comes with it. Casey's like, it's like being at the ocean. There's no ocean. There's no beach in sight. Not at all.
So anyway, who do you think wins that one? I have to deny myself the comfort of a fan or she cannot sleep. Number 2, try new things together. Like starting a podcast together, maybe? Try that one out and see who listens to it. Especially when you know nothing about how to do it. But you do it together. And so you can just work off of each other and figure it out together. It's been fun. It's really been weird, though, when you see people, like tonight, I was watching someone else's video, and I happened to participate in like the live stream chat, and a couple people on there said, "Whoa, Baptist Catholic in the house, great podcast." And I thought, who are you?
We didn't know these people, right? That was the weird part.
Who are you?
Yeah.
No, but knowing that there are people out there that support us and find some kind of value out of this, it's pretty encouraging, and it's kind of cool that we did this together and that we're continuing to do it together.
Yeah, and I think it is a fun bonding thing, right? Like just doing something new together that neither you know what the heck you're doing. So you're it's not like one of us is really good at something like, hey, come do this with me. Yeah. I'll teach you, but really I'm gonna have to carry you on it,
Carry, yeah.
It is fun to kind of, even the struggles with it, it's been fun to kind of go through those together.
Yeah, I agree. And then learn, number 1, the big one, learn to say, I'm sorry. Even if you're like me and you don't need to say you're sorry, learn to say it anyway. Okay? Learn to say it anyway. They're getting a stone cold stare from the person to my left. So, I can think of a few times. Like, for example, we have to speak a little Espanol, okay? So, not only are we country Catholics, we're Espanol Catholics, okay? So, I might have agreed.
Casey speaks a little bit of Espanol.
No,
I struggle through it, okay?
Yeah, but she can speak and understand it. Anyway, beside the point. So, I may or may not have booked an interview in Spanish, and come to find out they wanted both of us. So right before it was time, filling her in.
The day before.
Hey, by the way, me and you both are going to do this interview in another language. So be ready. And I have to say sorry for that. But she did great, and it went fine. But, yeah. And she learned how to, and you learned how to say, it's okay, Casey.
Yeah, well, and I think that actually does go hand in hand. Like when one person is like, I'm sorry, of course there's, even when it's a disingenuous, I'm sorry, be the gracious person and be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I
think so.
One, it is hard to say you're sorry, even, and there've definitely been times, we've been together a lot of years and through a lot of immaturity.
Especially on your part.
Right.
Right.
Because we were 18 when we started, or got engaged and everything. And so even saying, I'm sorry, not really meaning it, when the other person's like, it's okay, you're like, crap, I better actually say, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think to just kind of round out this episode, right, is we can all acknowledge that marriage is not always hunky-dory, rainbows and butterflies and puppy dogs.
Oh, no, well, yeah, it is. No puppy dogs, though.
No puppy dogs. Something we found out. Not that big of animal people, but anyway. So, yeah, but when you stick it through in the long run, I think things have gotten better, and especially since becoming Catholic, I think.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things where we look back and go, if we had not become Catholic, our marriage would not have grown in this way. We would not have been open to doing this or that and the other, especially when it comes to children. But I think just in general, probably sacrificing for one another and being more selfless. Even though we were Christians, right, having that real, distilled, clear understanding of marriage as a vocation.
And as a sacrament.
I mean, we didn't have that. We had, obviously, you get married, you stay married, and try not to get divorced.
Try not to, right.
You kind of. So, but as Catholics, seeing that, no, it's so much more than that, and you're called to something. And it's your primary vocation. It's not like you're these other things, and you happen to be married, and no. Marriage is what the Lord has called you into, and that's how He wants you to work out your salvation. Right? It's through this sacrament.
Not a work.
Right.
But how he wants you to live,
right, how he's
because
giving you
of
that grace. Right.
Yeah.
How he wants you to respond to the grace he's given you.
Right. And I think, so marriage as a sacrament, the sacraments always come with grace, right? Like they bestow grace and grace and grace. And every day that you recognize that this marriage that you're in is a sacrament, more and more and more grace comes with it. It's amazing, really, because I can see that in our own marriage, just the things that 5 to 10 years ago would have drove me crazy or that kind of thing.
Set us off.
That you just not that you settle or I just have to deal with that. No, it just doesn't matter. The person that you've cleaved to, that's what matters.
And if the other person's on the same trajectory, those things that bothered you, I mean, in the perfect scenario, are going to end up naturally going away. Right? Yeah. Because they are thinking about you and your needs and what bothers you and what doesn't bother you and those kinds of things. So if we were living this vocation out the right way, exactly, that's why I basically live fanless. Okay. So the Bad to Catholic challenge this week is pretty simple. Find one way to die for your spouse. So find one way to die for your spouse this week. Yeah. Something that's out of the way a little bit. It doesn't have to be like something cray-cray, right? Yeah, die to self. It had to be something cray-cray. Recently Erin banked up a lot of this. There was a big surprise 30th birthday thing that she did for me, which is coming up. So I don't know what I'm going to do for her birthday.
Yeah. Y'all,
so it was tough.
I got all his sisters, all their kids, his parents, grandparents, all came, and he had no idea. It was wonderful. There's a video, if you're wondering.
No. Too bad you won't get to see it. Okay. But anyway.
Well, if you're interested, let me know. You can see it.
If you subscribe.
That's the caveat.
That's the draw. You get to see a home video if you subscribe. It'll be wonderful. You'll be like, why didn't I do this sooner? Okay. Anyway, so until next week, folks, if you're married, live that vocation out, right? Find a way to die to self. Find a way to put that other person first. If you're not married, find somebody in your realm, like friend, right? Or it could be just a random person to find a way to serve that person. Because go out of the way a little bit.
Especially if you're somebody who wants to get married.
Train.
Yeah, you cannot get too much practice on this because every day you've got an opportunity to say, okay, I can get mad that you left your cup in the same place that I've asked you please not to put it for the last 6 years. Or I can just move it and say, they're not doing this because they hate me. You know, just all those.
They're not doing it spiteful. Guess what? I'll leave it right here one more time. See what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, all those. Any opportunity you can get in to practice dying to self, gosh, and of course Christ loves it.
Yes, exactly right. Okay, folks. Well, until next time, we'll see you right back here on the Bad to Catholic Show. Hi guys, if you enjoyed that episode, please consider liking and subscribing and turning on that notification bell so that you can see and get the notifications from the Bad to Catholic Show in the future. So go ahead and do that. Smash it, punch it, try to chop it. Whatever you need to do.
All right.
Okay.